Do you remember those fantasy stories that you were told when you were a child? Those incredible stories where you wanted your favorite character to come out of the book to protect you? Well, although the line between mythological tradition and reality is very broad, there are numerous cases where people claim to have seen this type of creature. And although these appearances are the product of a very creative mind, the scientific and photographic evidence that has been known can make us question reality. Now, join us to know 5 people who hunt real-life mythical creatures. But before we begin, make sure you hit the subscribe button to get notified every day for more amazing content. With that being said, let's begin. Number 5. The Loch Ness Monster. If you like mythology, sure, on more than one occasion, you've heard about this legendary creature. Originally from Loch Ness in Scotland, it has become over the years the main source of inspiration for many Hollywood films. Even some cartoons have mentioned the possible existence of this sea creature. In fact, despite being an animal with more than 1,500 years of history, there are people who claim to have seen it today. There are records of the monster ever since the year 565. In 1868, on its part, the Inverness Courier published the first article of the modern version of the creature. Since then, much was said about it, but it wasn't until 1934 when R.K. Wilson showed for the first time a photograph in which the animal could be seen swimming on the surface of the water. And although years later several researchers proved the image was false, in 2014, the service of Apple sparked a controversy regarding certain images the company captured. The origin of the scandal was never known, but many claimed that it was related to the controversial Loch Ness Monster. Even sometime later, a video was leaked to the internet with the alleged images of the creature. Yep, just as you heard it. The event happened when several fishermen were working in the region. And although at first they thought it might be some kind of sea serpent, the hypothesis was ruled out because of how huge the animal was. Just carefully watch the images in the recording. A kind of monster floats momentarily on the surface before diving back into the water. It quickly crosses the small boat that is on the lake and continues on its way to losing itself in the ocean. How about that? After the video was posted on YouTube, it went viral. People couldn't believe what happened on the recording. Was it real or fake? That was the question that many netizens had. But although a good number of them said it was a montage, others questioned reality. Even those who captured the moment said they had never seen a similar creature. What do you think? Do you really think it's the Loch Ness Monster? Although there's no more information than what can be seen in the video, we're sure of one thing. We live in a very diverse world, and the ocean is even more so. Maybe in a few years, the fantastic myth of this creature will become a little more real. Number 4. Leprechaun Fossil Remains. For years, we've heard about the existence of goblins, those little mythological creatures of fantastic origin with a humanoid shape, but the size of a small child. They're present within the folklore of many cultures. However, despite the fact that some people have claimed to have seen them, others consider it just a myth. It was in the spring of 2015 when the hosts of The Mystic Menagerie, a show in the UK that is dedicated to alternative art, were contacted by one of their regular listeners. As the usual podcast themes used to include paranormal and unexplainable events, the viewer confessed that he needed to share a strange discovery he had recently made. Although the hosts of the program wouldn't mock the speaker, the man preferred to remain anonymous and sent the photos along with a very unusual video. Sure, he was afraid of being ridiculed at his peculiar discovery. The recording shows a very small humanoid skeleton, and although it only has the skull, spine, and ribcage, it's clear that it's of human species. Can you believe it? The discovery sparked the concern of many experts. Were they the fossil remains of a real goblin? The skeleton had no limbs, lower jaw, much less a pelvis. However, it was enough to build one of the most incredible cases in the entire scientific community. After all, it's a creature able to fit in the palm of a hand. The British informant told the hosts of Mystic Menagerie he had found this small skeleton inside one of the bird nests located in Cornwall. As his job was to monitor the endangered species and protect them from egg thieves, it was inevitable not to run into the strange fossil. When he came out of amazement, the stranger collected the remains in a sample bag and took them to the rescue center for a closer inspection. Later, the researchers organized a meeting to examine the skeleton closely. Whether they were able to confirm the possible existence of the goblins or not, it's still a mystery. The hosts of the show didn't talk about it again. Did they find something else and now want to keep it away from the public light? What do you think? The images in the video seem to be quite clear, but as always, you have the last word. Number 3. Dragon in England. Who hasn't heard about dragons? Considered one of the oldest animals, it's undeniable that their presence in stories and fantasy tales has been a relevant feature ever since we can remember. Even in movies or series like Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, and The Hobbit. Represented as a great and ferocious serpent or lizard with wings, horns, and a fiery breath, European mythology believed that its destructive power was only controlled by magicians. For the Romans, on the other hand, they were considered as a symbol of power and wisdom. Their figure adorned the war banners during the occupation of the British Isles. Years later, they became a heraldic and military symbol. As for modern mythology, the dragon symbol has also been used continuously. Over the years, its image has been branded in humans' history, and as mentioned before, it has found fertile ground in film and literature. Nowadays, it's not strange for fantasy novels to involve dragons in them. However, although the idea of a giant snake with wings has become part of the collective imagination, it's impossible to ignore the amount of videos that have been recorded on the internet with alleged sightings of dragons. Are they real, or a deception drawn by very creative minds? This is the question that many people ask themselves. But although most of them seem false, there's a recording that seems to prove the opposite. Some time ago, the strange appearance of a dragon flying over the streets of England was published on YouTube by a netizen. Can you believe it? The images caused all kinds of reactions on the internet. It was the first video that looked completely real. Some even said that the creature was one of the 3 children of Princess Daenerys Targaryen, a character in the series Game of Thrones. Others claimed it was a comet or a remote-controlled device, but if you watch the video carefully, it's impossible to overlook the wings and the size of the creature. What do you think now? Was it really a dragon? No matter what it was, it caused great commotion in the English people. Number 2. The Fairy in the Park. Since fantasy stories came to light, there's always been a recurrent character that can't be missing in the story. It doesn't matter how important they are in the story. The youngest of the house will always eagerly wait for them to appear. That's right, we're talking about fairies, a fantastic creature that according to Greek and Roman mythology is represented in the shape of a beautiful woman with butterfly wings. How could we ignore its origin? Many films have made sure to show us the beauty of these delicate beings. However, do fairies really exist, or on the contrary, is it just a fantastic creation? Thousands of people have tried to answer this question, but few have got answers convincing enough to appease the fascination for these little ones. And although there have been many videos leaked to the web where someone claims to have captured one of these mythical beings, they all turned out to be a clever deception, at least until a recording of a father playing with his children in the park came to light. At the beginning of the shot, there doesn't seem to be anything strange. The man is under an apple tree and is capturing the reaction of the little ones. However, after a few seconds, they approach one of the branches of the tree. Apparently, they'd seen something strange, and they weren't wrong. When the man focuses the camera on the piece of wood, a fairy with humanoid characteristics rises and disappears into the sky. How about that? Both children and the adult flee, scared from the place until the recording ends. Many comments filled the network after the video was made public. Nobody had seen something similar. The fairy, or whatever the creature that came out of the tree was, fulfilled the characteristics of the mythical being. Not only did it have long, transparent wings, the structure of its body was similar to that of a small human. What do you think now? The person who uploaded the video didn't say anything else, but many doubts filled the minds of millions of adults and children. Number 1. The Greenland Mermaid. Mermaids are fabulous creatures originated in Greek mythology. Over the years, it has been extended in the fantastic narratives of Western literature and cinema. But although many believe in their existence, it has never been possible to verify the authenticity of these supposed findings, or at least not until now. Do you want to know what we mean by this? We'll tell you soon. In 2014, a group of North American scientists decided to enter the depths of the Greenland Sea. The idea was to capture with their camera everything they saw there. By then, no one had come this far despite being in a submarine. However, what they didn't expect was to run into what could be a mermaid. Yep, just as you heard it. The clip only lasts a couple of minutes, but it's enough time for people to start creating theories and expressing their opinions. A member of the crew, the man with a beard and glasses, was in charge of recording the different marine species that inhabit the bottom of the water. The other guy, on the other hand, captured the reactions of his partner. It's there when a white hand hits the submarine's glass so fast the men can't even take it in. Also, you can see for a second the frightful, inhuman face of the creature. How about that? Although some came to believe it was an alien, the submariners claimed to have been in the presence of a mermaid. It was impossible for them to create the scene given that they were 3,000 feet under the water. No diver would have withstood that pressure, not even with protective suits. In addition to this, the creature moved very quickly. What do you think? The sea is full of creatures not yet discovered. And if it was an authentic mermaid, it's something scientists will keep on investigating. Alright, Top 5ers, if you haven't already, make sure to visit our other channel, The Brilliant, for even more interesting list videos that'll blow your mind. But I'm warning you, the videos over on The Brilliant are extremely addicting to watch as well. There'll be a link in the description to the channel, so make sure to come and visit us. Or you can go to our latest video popping up on screen right now. Oh, and have you visited thefinestpost.com to enjoy the most amazing articles you'll ever get to read?